curious why more people haven't.
Whoops.
Bobble went with the same haircut as the trials.
Love it. Hey. Can't hear us yet. Oh, where am I going?
Lindsay.
Hey, Lindsay. Here we go.
Wow, Des picks Callan Taylor for the race.
Hey, what's up, Lindsay?
Wait, that's my number one draft pick.
Who had the first pick, Chris, in your draft?
We switched it up. So in the men's side, our buddy Tim had the first pick, and then on the women's side, Matt Meyer had the first pick. So Bronca was second and third. You had a good spot for both of them. Men's side, our buddy Tim had the first pick, and then on.
Here they go. You love to see it.
All right, we should be live here.
So then,
It's going to be an awesome test of my bandwidth, which has been.
wait, Chavez, is that a Jacuzzi Boys?
It is.
thing
Yeah,
up front?
whatever that is.
Oh my God.
Is that
yeah.
Dave Martz? No. Who is that?
They throw singlets on everyone. I'm forgetting his name. He's quite a good runner.
Oh, that's Scott Olberding right now.
See, Chris, I think you have this figured out by having it on both. It sounds like you are on separate both screens. And am I correct in assuming you're on separate Wi-Fi networks? Is that accurate?
Well, I guess my Wi-Fi there's a 5G and a 2G option, and so I think the one that I'm streaming on the TV is on 2G. Everything else is on the 5G option. But,
Gotta avoid that 2.4. Gotta avoid that at all.
So
the guy in the white singlet off to the right is a pacer for the second pack.
It's JJ Santana is who Scott just told me that the boy is. Oh, I like this clock that they're showing. That's a great graphic.
God, this interface is brutal. I'm still not in it.
We were talking about it before.
It's like unreal.
Click around endless.
You might be able to log into Runnerspace Plus, Lindsay.
Oh, okay. I think I got it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Let me mute it.
Someone
I don't want to mute it.
Someone should release a tutorial video ahead of time. Here's how to log
Someone
in.
should get them from college intern.
It's
easy.
And Lindsay, I'm sure you know this going. I went into our Zoom and put the volume on us down a little bit and the volume on Des up a little. You can tweak that.
Got it. Cool.
All right, they're figuring out their drafting.
I do really, Chris, it's a good point. I do kind of like this graphic, just the depth of info that it has. It feels like a cycling race.
Yeah, so, I mean, I think Dez was the one who on Twitter said once that like now with like all the shoe talk and all that kind of stuff and our focus on time, like it's taken away from racing where like something like this does make it more because this is a race, and so like I like that to show you just how far back some people like it'll get more interesting obviously as the race progresses, but it's much better than just seeing sort of like just whatever time it is on the clock or whatever split is.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Wait,
I
so
hope
then
it's like
they
NASCAR where it moves. Like you're able to see. Oh yeah, it is. Wow.
they must have another cart that's about to slip in behind the men once there's space, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Because there's no women yet, because it's probably not even safe to have a car there just yet.
Kellen start. Is that Kellen
Oh.
starting?
Yeah, I think
Okay,
I
it's
see
off to the
them.
side. Okay, there we are.
Starting with the jacket.
Love it.
God, I'm so excited to be watching a race.
I know. This is great.
Wait, why is Kellen going with Sarah Hall right now? Oh, well, this is just like getting space probably.
I don't know. They are away.
That would
Is
be
that
bold.
Sarah?
If,
I thought that was. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Did women and men start at the same time?
yep.
Oh, it's Lindsay and the Hyde family.
Oh, does JJ have the Eliud Kipchoge alpha flies? That's a nice touch.
He's a 218 guy, right?
Yeah, he's great. Frank is looking at, they're looking at their watches like every second. They're going to trip.
Focus on their training. We have athletes here who, could have used an extra year as they look.
I'm rooting. I'm kind of rooting for Shadrach. I think.
Yeah.
He's got what, 3? He's finished top 3 in a couple majors, I think. Well, definitely Boston.
I've always been really impressed with him as a runner.
There's one other one, I think.
Yeah. But this does feel like a Sarah Hall-esque race. Just flat and fast as hell. And that's why I picked her first. But okay, those turns aren't as horrible as I thought they might be. I thought they were going to be like true 180 around a bin.
No, it kind of looks awesome.
Yeah.
Peter, can you check the YouTube link and see how the live stream looks from your end? Because I think I'm having trouble calibrating because I have the screen like.
Someone sent me a screenshot of us and made fun of me, so I think it's running.
Oh, perfect.
Hi guys.
Hey.
I'm gonna stay mostly muted because my house is very loud.
Why is everyone yelling?
Yeah, that's not bad.
Did you all already talk about Des saying that Sarah or she was calling Kellen to win?
No, I think we
Des
heard that.
was?
At the beginning,
There's
Des
Emma.
on the commentating, Des said she was calling Kellen to win, Sarah a close second with a new PR. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
What's Kellen's
Pretty
PR?
sure.
224, I think, at Grandma's.
Grandma's.
Yeah.
Sort of that, but also just to make sure you've got somebody who can continue as far as possible at that pace if somebody's not feeling it on the stick.
Look at Frank. He's just like, he needs a heads-up display. He's going to fall over himself.
Oh, Nick Willis is back there.
Where?
Nick Willis is pacing with Ben Bruce.
Sweet.
Oh.
I really enjoy waking up in the morning to a flat Bruce Instagram post. It just reminds me that, you know.
Yeah, it's good stuff. This is different than I expected. The 2-to-1 pacer to athlete ratio up here.
We'll get some official splits at the 5K mark.
You remember when Elliot like told his pacers like, get together. That's what Kellen should be. Be like, block the wind for me.
Balance. Whenever I think of the like the Monza phalanx, I think about the audio clip that someone took of the broadcast audio from the Monza attempt and put it over the video of Kim Jong-il's limousine with all of the guys running next to it. And I laugh every time.
Was that you, Chavez? Did you make that? Someone.
What's up? For what?
The Elliot, the breaking 2 and Kim Jong.
It was Kim Jong-un.
Yeah.
You remember this? Like somebody
Oh yeah, that was me.
Put it over the limousine. It was fantastic.
Yep. I was the person who did that.
Brilliant.
I particularly like to go a little bit slower than give yourself the reserves because it's just human nature. Dig a little deeper into those last mile or two. You see the finish line. You know you're building towards something special.
Who is that in the rabbit gear? Who's pacing off to the left here? I don't know him.
Someone just tweeted at me that they paid for a subscription, but every time they click play on the video, it says that their Runner Space Plus or USATF Plus is disabled. And I'm like, you're hitting up the wrong Chris. You should be hitting up Chris Nickinson, not me.
Yeah. I'm not your guy.
Wrong Chris.
Chris, they just know how technologically capable you are. They figured you could hack in and figure it out.
Oh man, that's a pack.
This is one of the best things I've seen all year. This is protecting.
I get nervous about that women's pack. Just like 2 women, 2 4 pacers. It seems like just way more
It's
intense
lonely.
than.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Super
Like
intense.
you don't get that vibe of. All right.
The men look like CIM last year. The gifts
Yeah.
that I love.
Someone texted me that there's not a lot of swoosh singlets, but there's a lot of swoosh shoes. Oh, here we go. Okay. The half marathoners
Yeah.
working their way in.
Philosophies as it relates to picking their teams. Some have races and will qualify 1 or 2 athletes. And then
I'm looking at this backpack over here. Right
Oh, okay.
More marathon runners. Is there a sense in which you really want
on
to
the American side,
be part of a larger pack at the beginning, whereas at the end, once it thins out, it's like, okay, this is where I'm supposed to be? Or would you rather be with a large pack the whole time?
I think more the better. As long as they're not tripping over each other. People get nervous at the very, very start. Oh, the bottles. Here we go.
It's a pressure-filled situation. You have to prepare for one day and circle it on the calendar if you're ready. So I really like our system of picking our team. I understand different countries need to go about it a different way, but it's fun to watch people chase that down and give themselves a shot. Whatever their selection process is after that, the first thing that you can do.
Maybe Sarah and Kellen will do a Shalane and Amy Craig situation during the last trials.
Yeah.
Isn't a bad way to do it.
Yeah. These Pacers are okay. These Pacers are going to need to get bottles. They're not like going to jog to this time. If Sarah really goes for what she's going for, here they go. They're fueling.
What's the COVID protocol on sharing bottles?
Oh yeah,
It's like it's an act of good faith, but you're like, ah.
Totally
If
chill.
you get deep into a race and you're thirsty and you know they got tested, you'll take anything.
We'll look at also
Yeah, oh yeah.
Abbott World Marathon Majors schedule later on, as they have postponed all their early marathons, including Tokyo, Boston, and marathons, including Tokyo, Boston, and London.
Uh-oh, someone's ahead of me on. I'm hearing someone else's feed.
Could it be me?
It's okay. Somehow mine is slow.
I'll mute myself.
Oh,
Set big marks. I want a sense of purpose. I think that's what the marathon project is delivering to these guys. For athletes, this is for most of them.
I think John Ranieri needs to tuck in. I'm just gonna say that. I just want him to tuck in. Ooh, split screen.
Yeah, you're way behind Bronca.
I'm ready. Yeah.
You don't even know that follow.
Listen, you guys in New York with your fast internet, okay? I don't want to hear it. All right. Out here in the boonies.
All right, I'll keep my comments to a minimum because I'm way behind you guys.
Peter, I don't know what's going on your screen, but Sarah Hall just won the men's race on our screen.
Well, I'm wondering about these. Oh, is that? Oh, that's Mo. In the Jordan singlet? Is that Mo?
Yeah, that's her training partner.
So that's her training partner. Yeah.
Yeah, the guy that no one wanted to pick in the draft because he was probably, I would seat him lower than all the half marathon qualifiers.
I mean, if they've worked out together, and she said he beat her in a lot of the workouts, so like they could work together.
All right. Oh, Bronca, your Wilkerson Given pick is down. Is leading the second pack.
Oh, come on, settle in.
I'm looking. Most of my attention's on the lower half of it.
Yeah, no, that's the way to.
This course would be a disaster. I just don't have the turnover. These guys are, again,
Chris, are Ward and Drati wearing different versions of the endorphins?
I think different colors because I think Ward had a color from London.
Gotcha. I like Scotty with the long sleeve, just looking like he's just kind of getting, you know.
That's a big NAZ thing. They always like, if you look at photos, they shed many layers as they go along.
That's why the Hoka contracts are so adamant about stipulating you have to wear a lot of Hoka gear. It's just constantly just getting tossed. Leave behinds on the side of the road.
Yeah.
Kellen
Kellen
is scarred but smarter after her hypothermia experience at Boston.
It's good to know.
Right, there's Kira. Yes. Looking good, girl.
So that's a pack of 3?
Yeah. What do you guys think Kara's going to do today?
I don't know. Is 211 a little fast for a prediction?
Jake is friends with her. They're all in. He's all in.
This is this is like officially Lindsay the Kira D'Amato cheering corner as far as I'm concerned. I think Kira, it just depends on a lot of things. I was going to try to oversimplify it in a way that doesn't make sense. I think Kira's capable of running 223 high. Just looking at how smoothly she came in for that half by herself in Michigan at 68.57. Everything she said to me looks good. The only way around that I could see is that her speed's actually really good right now. So I don't know if that means that because of her 10-mile workouts and things like that she put in. But if she's still really strong at 15, 16, she might just throw it down and say go for it. It wouldn't. Nothing would shock me with her right now. She's just been such surprising herself in one of the coolest ways ever. So it's hard to say, but I would say I'd say top 3 women's finish for her.
For Kira.
Oh, Matt.
That would be my bet. I'm just
an
a
exciting
fan though.
story.
You can't, both Lindsays, you can't trust me on Kira talk. When it comes to friends, I just like irrationally like, oh yeah, she could probably run like 206.
Yeah.
I'll say
Olympic
top 5. I'll say top 5.
Yeah.
All right, Lindsay Heim. Then if she finishes ahead of top 5, the over/under is 4.5. Next time we hang out, years.
How can you finish ahead of top 5?
No, I meant 5th spot. 5th spot, Matt. Thank you.
Wait, if she finishes ahead of 5th spot, what?
If she finishes ahead of 5th spot, you have to buy beers. If she finishes 5th,
Okay.
they're on me.
I can do that.
All right.
She looks smooth. I know it's a faux pas for men to say they're racing women, but I ran a 10-mile yesterday and thought about her time the entire time. But it didn't really matter because you can only do what you can do, and I could not catch her.
Few can.
Few can.
Oh, did Scott shed a layer?
Yeah, I picked Matt McDonald's from Atlanta Track Club second, and I can see him in the second pack. I kind of thought after his huge move at the trials, he was going to be a first pack kind of guy, but we'll see how it all shakes out. It's a long race.
He knows how much schoolwork he's had.
Yeah. Oh, he's not racing at home. Ah. I didn't consider that. Wait, what kind of singlet? What does Kiara wear?
I think it's just like a general white singlet, not sponsored.
He's like, I will not be sponsored. And oh, I will wave to the camera. I'm way behind you guys, I know.
Then ahead of that group, still Sarah Hall and Helen Taylor.
What do you think the chances are that this becomes a recurring event?
I mean, there's no money.
There's no money in any of these events.
I think low, just because like CIM will be back around this time of year next year, hopefully.
Yeah.
So like, and then plus the majors.
Yeah. The only thing, I think you're right, Chris. Only thing I could see is if folks really like the course or the experience and really push for it as an elite event, that could be cool, but probably right.
Hey, Esther.
Esther.
I would just like to correct you about CIM and how much money they put down for particularly when they have the U.S. championships. The pot for the top 10 it's pretty decent. It had nothing to do with me, but.
It's carbohydrate mix for most of these guys, electrolyte mix. It's one of the things today. Cool temperature.
And you got Houston in January. I'll be back.
Getting your fuel tank topped off every 5K so that you can have energy to get to the end of this 26.2 mile race.
Matt, how's your recent COVID cough going?
You know what? It turns out it's actually an extreme case of Trump exhaustion.
Did that not clear up in like mid-November?
They call it delayed onset.
Wait,
It's
so what pace?
it's the coup cough, as it were.
What pace is the lead men on? Because I'm seeing men fall off already. They're going quick.
I'm not seeing Kellen Taylor on the 5K splits online.
this point. Race women plugging along on their race.
Is it because she's wearing a jacket?
Oh, that could be it. Yeah.
Let's get back down to
Marathon investigator's going to crack down on her.
Right.
The next Kip Litton. We know who Kip Litton really was.
Oh, here goes Sarah.
Bernard, just jump in, man.
Someone said that's Caleb Neff, friended, in the rabbit kit off to the side. I just think there's pacers pacing each other, and that's not really what I'm looking for. I'm looking for wind blocking. I mean, it's been modeled for us. I want
to Kipchoge
Kellen
V?
and Sarah. Yeah, exactly. Just bring them together.
I think some people aren't that comfortable running behind others, but
That's true.
maybe
they're
they should
probably
get
not
used to it. Yeah.
Esther, do you have anything coming up on your race calendar horizon at all at this point?
No, I'm still
Healthy running.
coming back from injury.
Healthy
Dang,
running.
high five.
My dog has a lot to say about it too.
Just down the street from, down the hill really from Flagstaff, Arizona, where a lot of these athletes train. So it's an easy travel in, get them from in there and get down there in the nice conditions. And the air almost feels
Right, so
pretty ideal.
What have you guys said about Kira so far?
Jake is
Having
about
fun?
to
I
mortgage
have a
his
lot to
house.
say, but
There's a lot of fans on here.
Yeah, I mean, we're all fans, but like, I mean, obviously she should look very smooth right now, but it's nice to kind of see her next to Emma. They have a similar kind of relaxed smoothness to each other, so it'll be fun to watch.
I'm curious how far that packs. Like, I'd love to see Kara with her speed attacking late, but I don't know how far they're going to be apart.
Yeah, I
with just
mean,
their pace setting.
I think it might help if somebody falls off and is kind of like a dangling carrot. Somebody, maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
44 seconds now.
Okay.
Nearly a year now, and kind of joked about this being his rust buster and his bowl race all in one package. So hopefully he's busting rusted in the first 5-10K, ready to rip them back onto the sport. Good to see him healthy and plugging away. He's with the Roots group. They have a bunch of runners in this field.
I'm so impressed watching Sarah Hall. Well, I'm always impressed watching Sarah Hall, but I always have to remind myself that she just looks like she's tired. Like that's her stride. She's just got one
I
of
was thinking the same thing.
working strides. Like there's a handful of runners that she's definitely among the best of that looks like she should be in the final 2 miles from the first mile on. And it's just like, to me, it's just kind of inspiring. Like it looks like she's struggling from the Parker Stinson
Yeah, I don't think
of extreme running at easy pace.
I appreciate a runner who looks like she's trying.
Yeah.
It looks hard.
Yeah, thank you. Right. Yeah, thanks, Sarah, for reminding us that this is incredible. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just like that she still looks the same as she did at Foot Locker back when I was a kid. Like she's just, it's the same stride, working hard.
The men's pacers are really not at 2:09 pace. It's like 2:10 high right now.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, Kira, looking good.
Sarah and Kellen look so far, you guys.
Yeah, that pack, that second women's pack looks like the least drama of any of the packs I'm seeing.
Yeah,
Like, they're-
a lot of teamwork.
They're in formation. Yeah, they're just moving. I feel like this lead women's pack, well, Helen is very tucked in.
This is the time in the race broadcast where my dad makes the joke every dad makes, which is like, oh, the Pacer brothers, that's quite a family of runners, huh? Their parents must be proud. Thanks for rubbing it in that I didn't make you proud, Dad. Appreciate that. Still injured.
Oh, I think there's a good chance that one of those three is going to pass either Kellen or Sarah.
Yeah. They just look like they're not working hard. And these.
No, I mean, they look appropriate for this stage of a marathon.
For half hour in, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Kira's only got 90 minutes more to go. Good work. I was chatting with her when she was like, I'm getting ready to take off on a flight to Arizona. And I was like, how you feeling? You know, kind of standard stuff. And she was just like excited and locked in the way that she's been all year. But in a way that had like a sneakiness to it. So I could see her starting to pick it up around the 10-mile mark, maybe.
Don't you feel like she always has a little sneakiness to her?
She's a low key, like very like the version of Kira that people see on Strava is totally who she is, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But she's super competitive internally. Like she's a very public, external, comfortable person in her own skin.
I wouldn't call it competitive. I'd call it confident.
It is. It is confident. Absolutely.
Internally, like just intrinsically confident.
Yeah. But she
against anyone.
Like that self-assuredness is like, I want to go. Like, So it almost looks like she's holding herself back at this point, which I think she might be.
Which is wise, considering her PR is not good. I mean, she hasn't proven herself yet in the marathon, so I'm glad she's taking a more conservative approach, even though certainly there is a case to be made that she could be going a little bit faster.
Well, this will hopefully mark the moment I know she's been waiting for a few years, where her PR finally eclipses that of her husband's. It's been slightly behind because Tony was a good runner, but she's wanted to have the family PR. And obviously, like if trials wasn't on the Atlanta course, I think she would have had it. But
yeah, and that's like 2:31, isn't it? His PR is 2:31. She should definitely be way faster than that today.
Yeah, today's the day. Wait, 30:43. That's sub 2:10 pace, right?
Yep, they're at 2:09:36 pace now.
Okay.
They were 15 seconds faster for the second 5K.
Oh, okay. I mean, you see these women splits.
Ooh, little tangent decision there.
What's going on?
Afford training, you got to find ways to keep your mind on doing something else. You just can't run, rinse, and repeat every day. And Jared has really been, a great story about how he's embraced.
Yeah, Matt McDonald's in that second group.
Academic life and his professional life.
He's making me nervous about my team, but we got time.
Who's in that yellow singlet there, Chris?
BAA.
Oh, that's Jones Hampton.
Blinking out me.
Did you guys pick top threes already before I hopped on?
Did we pick what?
Top threes, like your top three picks for each team, for men and women.
I think we just picked winners earlier, right, Peter?
Yeah.
Who's everybody's pick? I didn't hear.
I picked Cam Levins for the men, and I'm going to go Kellen Taylor on the women's side.
Okay.
Well, for my fantasy team, I went with Sarah Hall and TJ Albertson, so I'm feeling good about them.
Where is CJ?
He's in that
He's
pack.
in that lead
He's in
pack.
that front pack. Okay.
Yeah. You can't see him, which is perfect.
True.
Esther, who are your picks?
Ooh. I don't know. I think I'm gonna go with Kara.
That's smart.
Would go Sarah.
Do we know what that second women's pack is slated for, or like what they're supposed to be at?
Well, they were like 44 seconds back a minute ago.
Okay.
I'm going Sarah and CJ as well.
Hey, Fitz, how about
CJ
you?
would be quite an upset.
I'm excited to see how long Mason Ehrlich can last up front. He's working hard.
I don't know. He did well at the trials.
Yeah.
Sarah Hall and Kellen Taylor running side by side with the men.
There's a lot more spectators than I thought this course would have.
Clearly, they went to grab their bottles and
Yeah, Peter,
It's not
maybe your photographer friend should have shown up.
wasn't good to go off, but always a win is always a win. And everybody wants that, and competing is going to help them knock out that.
I got to say, I'm a total NAZ elite homer, but Kellen looks really good.
Yeah.
She looks
Great.
dialed in.
Matt, if you weren't, I would be disappointed. That's your team. I just get worried about, I don't know. Why is Sarah on the other side of the road?
She's socially distancing herself. I think that Sarah's form always looks a little bit more labored, though. You know, like even just she's might have the same effort level as Kellen right now, but she always just kind of looks a little bit more labored.
I respect that.
I'm just watching Noah's hair.
That's the best part.
I know.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious, like what kind of shape Noah is in, because he, you know, since he had to drop that half because he had the fake COVID positive,
Oh, yeah.
and I'm just curious, like what shape is he really in? I don't pay attention to his Strava. I don't know if anybody else does, but it'd be interesting to see what Noah does today.
Yeah.
Chris, ever since you pointed out the sort of NASCAR-like elements to the leaderboard on screen, I've been mesmerized by it.
Yeah, it'll hook you.
That's great. I don't even watch NASCAR. I've never watched NASCAR, but my vision of like what it looks like when NASCAR is on TV is just like this constant changing of positioning.
Oh, totally.
They just did a pro triathlon TV spectacle that was produced. I think it was, I don't know if it was NBC or whatever, but they did the NASCAR production crew put it on. So they did it exactly like a NASCAR event, but it was a long distance triathlon, and it went over really well. It's just,
Wow.
Why not?
You unmuted.
You're a breakaway.
Yeah, is she breaking away?
Come on, girl.
Yeah, what's going on here? They're not together.
But they're not together.
Yeah.
And she just waved.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a marathon. You go through ebbs and flows. Maybe Emma is having a moment.
I've never run more than 400 meters. I don't know.
Please tell me about your thoughts on the marathon.
Taylor at the trials, and they want to do that again. So I think they believe this is a strategic move for them. They're going to move their way up. Encourage to fall back.
a quick shout out to everyone watching our YouTube live stream, because I've got one or two people have texted me to say they're watching, but they were hoping that we would secretly also show the video footage of the marathon. And ask them to do. We don't want to violate any restrictions, but you can definitely go to Runnerspace Plus, get a 1 month account, cancel the auto renew for $12 and watch the rest of the event. It's like watching a movie.
About adapting, and this is a new scenario for all these.
Cheaper than a movie ticket.
Yeah. I wouldn't set up anything that went the wrong way of Ben Rosario for all he's done.
I was counting on Chris to set up like a gray market betting scheme for this. Like, I was hoping Sidious would like establish something out in the Cayman Islands, get us some odds.
Yeah, I mean, I was waiting for someone to be like, "You guys can't do that" with our fantasy thing, but I was like, you know,
You definitely
it's among friends.
So are we
Not
gonna
taking random people's money.
see some more sort of like fantasy sports stuff from Sidious in the future? Because I think there's a lot of potential.
I love prop bets. We could probably do something with prop bets, like how many. Like I'm trying to think, because you always think with the Super Bowl ones where it's like, oh, you know, what color is the Gatorade that's going to be poured on like the winning coach and that kind of stuff. I'm sure you could do stuff with running that way too.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this about this. This is a question for everybody who's ever watched the Super Bowl and has paid attention to prop bets. Is it just me, or if you're seeing the national anthem and you have control over whether or not it goes like over 3 minutes or under 3 minutes, don't you just like intentionally go over and bet your life savings across every in Las Vegas? I mean, if you're singing the national anthem in the Super Bowl, you've got plenty of money, but it's always occurred to me that like you have complete control over the outcome of a legally placeable bet.
Yeah, I'm sure there's ways of tracing it. I would not risk it.
Everyone you know, like $5,000, you know?
Yeah.
It's always struck me as something that like,
Can easily be right.
you know, you don't hear like, oh, like Beyonce sang the national anthem and now her net worth is doubled somehow. Like, seems to me an obvious. Kellen looks great, Matt. You're right.
Yep.
All right, somebody tell me about Butler.
Yeah.
Does anybody know anything about Butler?
Ian Butler, 216.26. Just going. I don't know.
I mean,
Just going to the pancake.
maybe he's going for a half PR or something.
Yeah. Well, because a man a few lower than him on the list, Zwicky, is that back with the Sarah Hall and Kellen Taylor.
Uh-huh.
Like, you know, 219-ish.
Right.
He's
I mean, he's in it right now.
yeah,
Amazing.
not at drafting, but in it.
It'll be interesting to see Frank Lara run a full marathon. I have a feeling he'll be pretty good.
Yeah.
It's good that he's out there pacing. I saw him picking up fluids, practicing that.
Yeah, he needs to, I mean, he's running fast. He needs to take care of himself.
True. Does anybody know how long the Pacers are going to be on there?
I don't.
I think the men, it's maybe 18 to 20. Yeah. I'm not
In
sure.
that case,
The women's side, I feel like they could stay in the whole thing, possibly.
right.
Esther, I just got a from a buddy who
It
heard
needs work.
on the stream to mention that Butler's a former Brad Hudson disciple.
Got it. Interesting.
Man, oh man.
For the text.
I mean, I would comment on his foot strike, but I mean, I think we had an Olympic champion that had a very similar foot strike. So,
Sarah has now publicly done so and stayed with her here for the early part of the book. They are on us to the pace to try to go through that first half.
Matt, I remember you talking about I can't remember. I know you sort of talked a little bit about it in the book, but it might have just been a conversation you and I were having just about Kellen Taylor's sort of intensity. Can you
That's an understatement.
elaborate on that? Like, I remember thinking it was just really fascinating how locked in she was.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, I think if you just like are like a fan and you hear her in interviews, and I don't know, you don't know her personally. You just know her as a fan. You might think it's a little bit of an act, but it's not. Like, I was with her every day for 13 weeks and she just never broke character. That's just who she is.
You're just such a big writer, Matt. She's just a method actress that needed to stay in the zone to get the right facing in your book. That's what it was.
Yeah. But it's
Scott
funny.
Pavel
A
just
lot of
gave it-
people who have kind of like a crusty exterior, or they're prickly on the outside. They're really kind of warm and soft in the inside. And Matt Yano told me that like she definitely was that sort. Like she just doesn't want to be bothered with you, like if like, you know what I mean? Like she's one of these people who just like, she lays it all out there, and then whoever's left in the room after an hour, she'll be buddies with. So she's like, over the time I was there, it took the longest for me to sort of establish a rapport with her. But once I did, like Matt was absolutely, it was true what he said. Like she's just got layers to her. Just an awesome person, but definitely like kind of the Prefontaine, tough as nails.
Just like
That's cool. She seems really cool.
What are you talking about?
Kellen.
Oh.
Yeah, Fable always talks about how he's definitely intimidated by her, but it's out of due respect and friendship.
Yeah.
More background on Butler from a viewer is that he's training with Boulder Harriers and Tyler McCandless now.
Okay. So where's Tyler?
that's what I was going to say. Isn't he in the second pack?
He is. Damn. They are
Maybe
going
Butler's
fast.
training ahead of Tyler McCandless.
I wish I could hear the
Or maybe
conversation.
Butler's holding back to train with Tyler. I don't know.
Ooh.
Hot take of the morning from Esther.
I wish I could hear Steph Bruce and Kellen talk before the race, where they discuss their race strategy, because it's very different than they at this point.
Yeah, Matt, when you were out there with them, did Steph and Kellen train together at all?
Yeah, constantly, because when I was there, they were both training for New York.
Got it.
I mean, yeah, they were doing the same race and they did virtually everything together. And, very close to the same ability too. So it just made sense.
Sure.
Yep.
Matt, did you talk to Ben at all before this event? Any insight from him? Have you guys connected at all about like what his thoughts on how this race would shake out?
Well, we've been working on a book together, so we've been talking a lot, but almost exclusively about that. He's just been so crazy busy with like juggling the book and then this and then everything else. I haven't like pestered him for like inside scoop or so we didn't really talk much about it.
Gotcha. Can you give more of a teaser on when that book might hit shelves?
We're hoping it'll come out in time for Tokyo, but it's one of those things where the publisher, they don't know dick about running. So like I think we'll have to like lobby for that. They'll just put it on, they won't put it out, but we both think it would get a good bump if it was out for Tokyo.
Great. Can't wait.
You're down to 209.01 pace on the men's side.
Again, 209 what?
209.01 pace.
All right.
14 guys.
Esther, now that you made the comment about Butler's foot strike, I can't unsee it. It looks like his shoes are 2 sizes too big, but he's cruising, like it's working.
Yeah, I mean, Serena Burla had a similar foot strike. She ran fast.
Mm.
In the big box, upper Taylor, Gary D'Amato, Emma Bates, and Steph Bruce in the chase pack.
Oh, triple screen.
The Marathon Project is in Arizona.
NBC. Okay, Emma's in. Nice and smooth.
Continues here on USATF.tv. Men's leaders in the large screen box.
So what pace is the second women's group on?
I could use I have the archived version of the Cool Runnings pace calculator up on my computer. Rest in peace.
Make that like a wall calendar for all of
I
us.
have an app on my phone
We
for
don't go to
that.
that site way too much. We need to have.
What did they split so far? Let's see. 49.29. So women hit 15K and 49.29.
I feel like my overall thoughts thus far on the production value is that it's been pretty great as far as typical running events. I would love it if somehow their tech existed in these split screen boxes to show a little data point about that group's current pace and if they were first or just so that if you like quickly look at it, you could calibrate a little bit because it requires a little bit of just sort of mental math. That would be pretty cool. But in general,
Cool.
Just get to see a lot of runners, right? That's what you want. You get to see a lot of folks going at it here, which is pretty cool.
So Kellen and Sarah hit 15K and 49.29, which is, according to this calculator, 219.11 pace.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's.
Yeah, and the American record's 36, 219.36, right?
All right, and what about the chase pack?
I don't think there's splits yet for the 15K, at least on the results.
Bronco, are you taking the day off post time trial, or are you going to get out there later?
I'll probably be inspired to get out there.
Hard not to.
How do you watch this and not, want to go up for a run?
Pretty inspired to get on the elliptical later, you know? Do some PT.
I'll definitely have a little extra pep in my step for my daily treadmill walk.
All right, so Butler ran 2:16 in Atlanta. That's his PR. So, I mean, if your PR
that
was
makes more sense.
in February, it was in Atlanta.
And it's probably worth a 213 or something.
Yeah. So why not go sub 210?
Right.
Get after it.
So the second half is it Steph Bruce and Emma Bates hit 15K and 51.02, which is 223.33 pace.
Nice.
I mean, that would be awesome for them.
Yeah.
Amazing. Is that Levins? He looks comfortable.
He has a long stride. He looks smooth.
He just looks smooth though, man. I can't unsee the Malcolm Gladwell comparison too.
I don't see splits for Kira D'Amato at 15K right now, but that could just be.
Wait, oh no. I'm on delay, but CJ's off the back of that pack.
Yeah, he's falling off, Bronca.
Long race.
Chris, I noticed earlier that a couple times Kira's split wasn't popping up on the screen. It could just be like a chip issue.
Yeah, that's probably it.
She's
there.
passing really nicely, so.
Are they doing bib based or like image camera based timing? Probably, because I don't see Matt's.
Oh.
Could be.
So it could just be like she's behind the pacer and the camera didn't catch her.
Could be. I saw some chip mats, but that may just be redundant.
Right. It could be like for the start finish lines, not for the intermediate splits.
Right. That's a good point.
Chris, that men's second pack is going to be big for fantasy. They all look.
Yeah. Keep your eyes on that. Let me see how many guys I've got in the lead pack.
Noah looks calm. They all look calm, but you know, an hour into a marathon, you better look calm.
You know what? I'm feeling really good, Bronco. I've got 4 of my 5 guys in that lead pack right now.
Alex Lohr with the buttery voice. We'll just let you take it over.
Oh man. What's going on, guys? Thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
I thought Dez's insight about that like how things kind of get shaken up when people position for water bottles is so interesting.
Yeah.
And like people get a little irrational, and I just love seeing like the spikes of pace when people do try to make those moves. I'm really glad that Sarah and Kellen kind of took it right away. And then I'm interested to see how that second group goes with Kier, Emma, and I think that's a really interesting group. I'm glad that Sarah and Kellen like didn't wait around, right?
Yeah.
I'm glad that they separated right away. It's 2 completely different approaches to this race for the men's and the women's side. I'm interested for like, especially some of the men who are just kind of starting to dabble in the marathon when there's no crowds, right? And when you're starting to like get in the hurt locker, I think we're going to see like a lot of dropouts on the men's side just because they're going to run out of steam and there isn't going to be that extra motivation. And I think we're going to start seeing that pretty soon here. Like they said, the men's pace is starting to ratchet down a little bit. So I think we're about to see a little bit of detonation coming up on that men's side. So hopefully everybody can kind of re-rally, but without crowds, like it's going to be really tough once you fall off the pace.
Without crowds and being on a loop course where you could be really close to the finish.
And maybe somebody's already commented this, but I remember in Houston, right, at the marathon trials in 2008, when you would run past your hotel multiple times, like that was crippling. Like so many like athletes I talked to was like, we were so tempted. Like every time we ran past our hotel, we thought about the hot shower. So that's pretty crippling, I think, to just like see that like you're given the agency to drop out at any moment, basically. So without crowds, like that is super tempting.
Alex, where have you been, man? You just came in and dropped awesome knowledge.
Oh,
just
no.
An hour into the chat, coming in with some brilliant takes and analysis, keeping this thing.
Thanks, guys.
Steph has fallen off.
Oh.
And Ben is actually pacing the other 2, which is classic gentleman of him.
There'll be some tension in the Bruce household.
I mean, 2:23 pace is like much faster for. I mean, what has Bates run so far? 2:25.
25 in Chicago, I think.
Yeah, it's still another big chunk when you're already kind of knocking at the top.
Looking good, Kira.
Yeah, Ben knows how to pace. He talked about how he's talked about being in Chicago and the etiquette of staying on his commitments rather than just taking care of stuff which he would want to do.
Right. By the way, there was a mat there, but it was like for the 40K. So I don't know if they have them for the 5Ks or just the 10Ks.
There's a shout out to Cody Branch in the YouTube chat who said they have mats every 5K. So thanks, Cody. That's helpful to know.
Ranieri dropped out?
So someone said.
Alex basically called that because he was off the back pretty early.
He just looked like he was, yeah, I mean, he didn't look good early, so it's like not.
What do you guys think? I mean, in this men's pack, like who looks the easiest? It's hard to tell with like a front on.
I would say the little peak we had of Cam Levins.
Yeah,
looks pretty good.
Fobble's just tucked in the middle of that whole entire thing.
Yeah. Yeah, Cam looks pretty good. I'm interested to see how like BWatt, if he makes a. I feel like BWatt's someone that would cover a move if it did happen. I don't think he'll like throw any big, haymakers. But I think like BWatt is always someone who will cover a move. So I'm interested to see like who he's sitting on.
I don't know. Scott Smith looks pretty smooth too.
Yeah.
It's on my team.
Rory and Cam are both starting to peak out a little bit. I feel like they're, I don't know, they're getting anxious in this men's pack right now.
1 hour in, time to chill.
59.04 for 12.
Okay.
Oh, so NAZ tweeted, Steph had to stop for a bathroom break about 10 seconds back, and now Nick Willis is trying to help her get back.
Oh, sick.
Oh, nice.
Hey, Will.
That pretty much seals it. Steph's going to win.
Yeah. Fireworks up front, and then she comes back.
Center stage on the board, the likes of Jared Ward, Scott Fauble, two of the veterans on the road racing for the U.S., Sheddy BWatt. Marty Heber, we haven't talked about much so far.
They're going to have a half mat? They have to have a mat at half.
Full-time job, and he's a med school student right now, looking to be an anesthesiologist. So he's got a lot on his plate, and he finds a way to make running important and fit in. He's doing a really good job at it because he's been lighting on fire and some really good times on the roads. Part of the Coach Fox crew out. Most of the guys out of Syracuse.
I wonder if CJ could come back on this. Like CJ got dropped off the pack a little bit, but he's still like he could catch this pack again. I wouldn't count CJ Albertson out of this quite yet.
Seniors are super young. This is just more experience under
I
their
don't know
mean,
if I
he's tough.
calculated it properly, but it looked like at 20K they were actually closer to 210 pace. But maybe I looked at the clock wrong.
20K? Let me see. I don't have the official splits yet.
Yeah, it's been 209 miles.
61:10.
Oh, where's Emma?
Oh. Where'd Emma go?
She was a little farther back, but I don't know. She might just be off screen.
Are we gonna get a half split in like 7 seconds?
I believe there is a halfway bet.
today. Did a great job. Worked out with
Lindsay Krause, was it you had that great comment about how like 3/4 of a way through a marathon you turn into like an amazing mathematician with your ability to like calculate? That was fantastic. I was dying at that. I can't do basic math, but if I'm on a
so
run,
bad at math. Yeah.
right.
I'm a
But if you're on a
sponge.
run, you're like, oh well, if I just go down like 2 seconds here for 3 miles and then pick it up, like suddenly
It's
become
like I get
Einstein.
so good at fractions. Yeah.
It's incredible. It's such a
And then you have to like, it's like proportions on the minutes, like, because can't actually divide on a factor of 60, but then it's like you just kind of estimate it. It's like the math lessons you give kids.
I'm also amazingly competent suddenly at converting kilometers to miles. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
it's
no,
like,
I'm like a genius, like a selective genius. But I can't like add otherwise.
I should have known this. I would have run 17 miles before taking the SATs, and I would have scored higher than like 1200. That would.
Yeah, no,
It's amazing.
No, it's like when you're, it's like a mile 20. Like that actually happened to me at CIM last year because I went out, I think at 6:20. No, it was supposed to be 6:25 pace, and then I met this woman on the bus who was I think we were both trying to break 250 was our goal at that point, and she was like, oh, okay, I'll also go out with you at 6:25 pace or something, which is very conservative for that pace, I think. And then she started going at 6:19, and I just like went with her, and then it was like the whole race after that was just like this math exercise of like how much was in this bank, like how, like I think I dropped to like 8-minute miles at the end or something, and I was like, can I stay under 3-hour pace? I don't know.
It's
all
amazing,
worked out.
though. Like it's also like you get really good at that when your mind can't think about anything else. Like
I start doing it in Spanish sometimes. I can't speak Spanish. Like it's absurd, but it's like all these little games you play to like,
That's amazing.
Amazing externalization. Suddenly you recall just like an algebra skill you never knew you had. It's brilliant.
Totally. Yeah, like carry the N.
Yeah. No, I thought that was just a brilliant comment that you had there. That was great.
It's fun. I mean, I love the marathon for that. It's like, just how can you get your mind to like pull this stuff out of your body that isn't actually there, but maybe could be if you try hard enough.
Matt, that could be the title of your next book.
What is it? Sorry, I was.
How to pull stuff out of, how to have your mind pull stuff out of your body that isn't actually there, but maybe it is. By Matt Fitzgerald
You
with
might
Lindsay Krause.
need an acronym for that one.
Good
I don't know. I
stuff.
think long titles are coming back, Alex. I feel like every millennia or so, right? Like Leibniz is coming back. Like we're gonna have a lot of that.
It's sort of Murakami-ish.
Right.
Hey, have we talked about D'Amato's kit? She's looking like they had that nice zoom in on her, and she looks really strong. But like, have we addressed this? What is she rocking right now? Maybe I missed.
Everything.
I know she's got Tracksmith bottoms, but I don't recognize the top.
I think a Nike hat. I think I don't even know the top.
Yeah.
I will say that I texted her while she was taking off for Arizona. I was like, how much do I have to pay you to put an EndeavoRun logo on your shirt? And she just was like, plane's taking off later. And then she texted me again for another 15 minutes. So needless to say, the sponsors will be knocking and have been knocking at her door.
Yeah, that's an interesting conversation. I mean, for her, like she's on fire, right? And she knows she's on fire. And, there's probably a situation that she was, or like an offer that was probably presented to her over the last month and a half. She probably could have grabbed it, but she might have like doubled down on herself, right? She's betting on herself to like have a big ass day today, and she could get an even better offer, right? So like, I don't know if that's a situation, but I suspect that things are on the table and they might have to get bumped if she has a big day today. So kudos to her for betting on herself.
I think that's a really good guess. And I would also say that maybe there's a part of her that knows that she does really well when she knows she's an amateur. She takes a lot of pride in that. And she might be a little bit scared of what would happen if she was getting paid to run.
Like full on.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's solid.
She definitely
stick with what's working.
Yeah, she definitely has embraced the idea too that she's doing it for her, right? She gets to dictate how, when, with no other input that she has to listen to. And not that some sponsors are going to come in and say, great, now that you've signed up, you're running London, even if you're not in shape this spring. But there's an element to being able to recognize that your success has been fully attributable to the program that she and Scott Rasko have put together, and doesn't have to incorporate anything else that I think is there. But obviously, there's an amount to which she could get offered where it'd just be foolish for her, for a lot of reasons, to say no if she's proven a lot of things to herself. But I think that, let's say Alex and Esther, I can neither confirm nor deny the accuracy of your comments, but I think you're both very wise people.
I also have this theory. Oh, sorry, go on.
Well, I was just going to say, at the end of a year like this, I haven't seen anybody's budgets, but I will tell you that like, this is not when you have like, it's like either you need to spend the cash that's in your marketing budget or you're going to lose it for next year. It's like a use it or lose it sort of deal, or it's completely burned. So I think it'd be interesting to find out if there was like a smaller brand that like took a big swing at her, or if some of the bigger brands are holding their cards closer to the chest until she actually proves herself today.
I also know that she's been running really well in Nike prototypes. Like, she's been a wear tester for a long time, so she might not feel real confident about just switching shit.
She's still in the next percents. So yeah, I think that's a good point. Like, she knows what she likes. And if the offers that she got were from someone other than Nike, there'd have to be a real consideration. But to Alex's point, I wonder if that means a brand like Athleta would take a stab at her, like an apparel only brand, the way they did with Allison Felix or something, and basically say, wear whatever shoes you want, just get this logo on your kit. That would be pretty cool. I would actually think it'd be really smart for a lot of brands that are just kind of in the general athletic space, but not necessarily shoe brands, to try to enjoy, especially because Kira's got such a great personality. She's a mom of two. She's got an incredible career outside of this. Like, she embodies what so many of those brands are trying to connect with in their group that a lot of others sort of fit into. And Kira is a true ambassador of that without having to do anything different. So that'd be really interesting. I don't say that in any sort of sly way. I don't know if any of those brands have approached her, but I feel like they're probably all listening to us right now, and they should, basically, is what I'm saying.
Definitely.
Well, and then if you're a brand that invests more on potential, maybe she probably doesn't have like a decade more in her of top performances. But if you're one that is investing in the here and now, that seems like something that could work. I also had this theory that, and I doubt anyone agrees with me, but that maybe because this year has required so much kind of improvisation, that it almost rewards people that are used to kind of being underdogs and used to doing things the scrappy way, because this isn't a year for kind of like white glove treatment, right? Like, it's a year about people that are kind of used to like kind of making do with what they've got. And to me, that sort of speaks to, in my mind, I'm sure this isn't actually true, but like why we're seeing people like Sarah Hall and why people like Kira D'Amato having these like breakout performances that are good for themselves, like in terms of like PRs, but also like relatively in some ways, they're very good. And I just wonder if that is part of an outcome of this year.
I don't know if you guys are seeing that Taylor's fallen off this a little bit.
Yeah.
I was about to say that. Yeah.
I was gonna say, what's the etiquette on 5 paces for the top woman? And like,
yeah, that's a good cue.
In theory, you could go and stick with her. Someone could.
Lindsay, that's a really interesting point. I mean, I wonder the data would probably be sparse, but I really wonder if there's a little bit of correlation analysis that could be done based on things like, you know, whether or not someone is training with a group, whether or not that group is local to them, because I do think there's a lot of folks like Kira and Sarah who are just more accustomed to, even if it's, you know, Kira's a bit of an outlier in the sense that like she's a true amateur. But I definitely think that the folks who are kind of used to doing a lot of their hard workouts alone, in a way. Now, there's anecdotes to the contrary as well, right? If you think about, you know, Carissa and Shelby and Colleen running indoor 5Ks last start of the year. Again, we're still kind of coming off of last season, so there's been less time to kind of marinate through the 2020 chaos. But it would be pretty interesting to do a little bit of analysis as well as some kind of qualitative interviews with folks who have been training alone for longer, and to see how, not whether or not they think it's been easier for them, but like if you compare the mentality start to finish. I don't know. I feel like there's publications out there like the New York Times that could write really great articles about something like that.
Yeah, I'm thinking a lot about, I just have to think about what the exact angle is and also how much of this is like in my own mind versus actual reality. But I was thinking that there's, in some ways, there may be a psychological difference between track athletes, because I think that the Nike athletes in particular they're performing terrifically as well, and maybe some of the marathoners, which in some ways might be a slightly different psychological mindset. I again have no idea, haven't reported this out at all. And then the other thing I was thinking is that it might be a little bit about training independently or not, except that in that case I'm kind of a caveat to that, and I was thinking about why that might be as well, because I train alone a lot as well, just because of scheduling reasons for the most part. And I was thinking that for me, that's because running alone used to be this like escape from everything, like escape from being surrounded by people all the time and like being in meetings and working all the time. But now it's like, since I'm kind of alone all the time, it just feels like more alone, but you also can't run with friends anymore really very easily. So I don't know, there's a lot to explore about why these performances are happening in this period, and some of it might just be that it was the right place at the right time. But I think there also might be some something about who specifically is excelling right now in this period and what it says about them, and what we can learn from that.
I think it's also worth pointing out that like you're not going to get this kind of concentration in one race outside of the Olympic trials unless there are no other marathons going on, and that's part of why we're actually like, and when you have a higher concentration of good American runners, of course you're going to have, you know, better performances overall.
Yeah, and obviously everyone was like queuing up to peak this year regardless, so maybe we're seeing some of the outcomes of that.
Right. Other than Ward and Hall, like everybody else didn't run a marathon yet this year, basically, since the trials.
That's really true.
I don't know if you guys saw this like side angles of that water stop, but just from like body language, it looked like Fobbs is still like Fobble looks the easy. Fobble and I'd say Levins, yeah, still look the most comfortable to me. Yeah, I see there's a little bit of carnage, maybe. Like I feel like Rory's just hanging on to this backpack, but Rory always kind of looks like he's just barely hanging on. But I think, yeah, if I had to like call two out, it would be Levins and Fobbs look really, really easy right now.
Who's that on the? I guess it's on the
far
right,
left.
On our right, in the orange sunglasses with the hat.
Colin Benny.
Looks pretty.
Yeah,
looks pretty
I
chill.
think it's Colin Benny from. He's a Syracuse kid from Reebok.
Reebok, right.
He did really well at the trials.
Yeah, he looks pretty smooth too.
They're clearly in the shoes with the taller stack heights, and we've seen some falls that could potentially be an issue. David Katz has done an amazing job of as smooth as possible. I think Bernard touched on that.
What's the current projected pace? Come on, Lindsey Krause. Just give me that instant
Better
math.
at 1:16.26 for 25K.
I'm not running. I can't help you.
1:16.26.
Jake, Will, my son, just joined to say that you have the best background of anyone.
Me with the blatant self-promotion background.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Will. Your dad must be involved in some way.
Cole says the men are on 208.50 pace.
Oh, I had him at 209 flat.
I mean, Bobble is Jared and Scott have run that at Boston. Oh, I mean, almost. So.
This is that moment during the race where Sarah has looked exactly the way she's looked since mile 1, and now her pacers are starting to look like her, and she's just gonna keep cruising, and it's awesome. She's so good. It's so cool.
That long-standing American record.
And that pacer has not dropped back for Kellen, which is interesting. No one is sort of dropping to stay with her at that point.
108.50 and held on for 220.57. Also notable is Berlin 2014. Shalane said this is an American record attempt. Won out in 109.38.
I mean, just like Kira, Sarah's psychology fascinates me so much because I just think like so many people after having so many, successes, but also disappointments, I think, in her professional running career. If you look at the Olympics as sort of the validator of professional success in this sport, like she did lose out this year, and that was probably just so disappointing. And it was so inspiring to watch her have that finish at London, which was like, to me, just like this visual manifestation of like literally not giving up. And again, she wasn't even winning then, like she was getting second, but still like getting her best time. And it's just so cool to watch her even now, just like, run for the win, even like, just because why not? It's like, it's everything that I love about the sport.
Clear, I mean, the pace.
That's really nicely said. Yeah, that finish in London where like you saw her just kind of deciding coming around that last bend, and you saw Ryan cheering, and she was just like, I am going to pick it up. And of course, with her stride, her knees don't get any higher. She just kind of like crawled faster, and it was so cool. Yeah, it was really amazing.
It's also been awesome watching her relationship with Ryan evolve from when I think understandably he was really the partner in the spotlight for so much of their earlier running career, and now with him kind of in the supporting role and just watching her kind of be in the limelight, it's just been really wonderful to kind of watch them from an athletic like partner support perspective as well.
They're so and to great to see the kids too.
Yeah, it's just like, it's amazing. Oh, well, with their kids too, but like, it's just, it's amazing to watch them both like kind of feed off each other's success.
Reminds me of the Gouchers back in the day. Remember when Adam wore that shirt? Miss.
Oh yeah, like Mr. Caragoucher, I think. Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot like the Gouchers. It's like Kara was saying that to me kind of recently about like what it was like to be in Adam's shadow for a little bit, and then what it was like to have her career just suddenly be this like very all eyes on her situation and how you work through that. But ultimately it's like it can wind up being this very mutually supportive situation that actually makes both people's careers even better.
Lindsay, you mentioned it's cool to sort of watch Ryan feed off that energy. It's also cool to just watch Ryan feed off of every ice cream he wants now, because he's 1,000,000 pounds of muscle, and it's one of the most amazing human body transformations I think I've ever seen.
The Ryan Hall story obviously it's been documented, but I feel like should be more in the American consciousness broadly. I think it's one of the most fascinating experiences of like an extreme nature, just like constantly challenging itself to be something more than what it was, and in so many different directions. I'm just riveted by everything in that family and how hard they work, and ultimately I think how they succeed.
Welcome, Mario.
But the team thing's great. You root for the players who
All right, I had to unmute there for a second. Hi, everybody. I am terrible at multitasking. I'm trying to watch, tweet, and participate all at once, and I'm terrible at it.
All right, guys. I have a question. What happens if Frank Lara actually finishes the race?
So
Does he get an official time?
I have some insight on that. I interviewed him earlier this week, and he has the green light to finish.
All right.
If he's feeling good.
I'm thinking about when Nick Arciniaga paced Brett Gocher in Houston and ended up running like 2:11 and beating him by a couple minutes.
I remember that.
Like his huge breakthrough. Yeah.
I mean, I think they had to have made that clear in a technical meeting, so it doesn't catch people by surprise if it stays in there after 30 days where it's scheduled to drop off. But
I mean, he looks like he's working, but he's been just charging the whole time. So
he also looks like he's having a great time.
Yeah.
He said he loves road racing and he loves the longer distances. So who knows? Maybe this is the taste that he needed.
Charlotte says that Kira's going to.
6. 36. The mark 36. Good since then.
In another chapter of the marathon is not a workout, Sarah said she got beat by her training partner Mo in every workout, and he has dropped off the pace. So race day is race day.
I've been kind of thinking. I'm sorry, I keep bringing it back to Cam, but I'm amazed by how smooth he looks. And I'm trying to think of the last time that Cam Levins was in a race where he was like the big dog. You know what I mean? Like for a long time, it's been like Cam has been like dropped into, you know, like more like major city marathon races, and he's been like a also ran almost. But it's weird to see him like in the front of this pack, and like when you really think about it, he's like one of the dominant forces in this race, and like I don't think he's been in a race like that in a long time. So I don't know, again, like if I had to put money on somebody, it would be Cam and Fobbs right now. And I'm anxious to see like Cam be given like the agency and like that realization, like that people are actually waiting on you. You are the elder statesman of this race, and see what he kind of does with that entitlement.
Totally. Sarah Hall on the women's side, top right. Kellen Taylor now in second alone.
Have we talked about Jared Ward at all?
Who's that?
We never do. Just always consistent.
Bid for an American record. Let's go down to an American record holder in his own right, Bernard Luca.
Esther, do you remember what he ran in London? It was pretty good. It was my recollection.
I don't know. Cole and I.
212 something.
Yeah, that's what Cole was guessing.
Oh, there's Ranieri.
Marty Hare now up in front.
Chris Chavez, how would you rate Legate's color commentator, sideline reporter skills? Give me a grade. What's going to be the cittiest?
It's been good so far. I like the crew that they've assembled for this. Like New York has like really tried and experimented the New York City Marathon in recent years. Like they put Matt Centrich on, which like I don't know if he had like the best day, but I like Legate in this role.
Yeah, definitely. He's been very appropriately brief. Like he doesn't seem to want to suck up too much air. Like you leave and like, no, stay with him. I want to hear more, and that's good.
I think I was standing next to him at the Milrose Games either last year or 2 years ago when Kajelcha, I think, like tried to break the world record, and just I mean, I wasn't watching like the broadcast or anything like that, so I just had him like just dissect the race for me, and it was just so interesting. So I wish like they would do more of that. But you know, with like these broadcasts, you always just kind of, I know when you're streaming directly on like USATF.tv or something like that, then like it could be a little bit more track nerdy. But then, you know, if it was on ESPN, you'd have to like try and appeal to the masses, so you can't get too nerdy. So this is like the perfect balance so far.
Chris, that was the day where Kajelka missed by like 0.02 or something like that, right?
Yeah, it was so close. Yeah.
That was pretty.
But then, and then he ended up
Boston.
getting it at the short track and BU. Yeah.
Don't tell that to Prakel, Henry, and Johnny. So 2 important questions for the crowd here. 1, will Kira catch Sarah? And 2, will I finish this entire bag of Skinny Pop before the end of the race?
Do we know how far back Kira is? Yeah.
From Kellen. I mean, she's got to catch Kellen first.
Kellen's not exactly falling apart.
Yeah, I think Matt's right there. Like I was gonna say that too. It's like she got dropped a little bit, but she hasn't like. It's almost like she stopped the bleeding, right? She got dropped, but like she isn't slowing down anymore. So it's almost like she's gotten back on cadence.
Still looks good.
Yeah.
Her rhythm looks good. I mean, she's slowed, but she's not running slow.
Right. It's a bummer that she doesn't have a pacer with her right now. Because she hasn't like she's not erupting by any means.
Frank Lara is charging. Maybe it's just the way he came off the turn, but I love it.
I think he feels disrespected on some level. He got left out after that half. He's loving it.
Running themselves. In fact, a couple of them ran a half marathon with her up in Oregon.
Sarah's putting on a clinic with those tangents.
Now, this is
She's run every single tangent absolutely perfectly from the start. You can tell she practiced on the course.
On display here in the final few days.
Yeah, and Ryan also went out and scoped it out for her yesterday.
Yeah.
To have that in the family, Sarah and Ryan both have excelled on every single level. So this makes all the sense in the world. She's dominating this great field of these guys.
I'm kind of noticing that Sarah's pacers do give her a little bit of room, right? They let her kind of lean into every corner too. They're doing a nice job, like giving her space and let her kind of leaning into those turns.
I gotta say that she is my mom's favorite. So that tells you how effective she is. I mean, I got it. She was good. She was dominant in high school, and I was just so I thought maybe in later years in life I could flip it off. Dominant in high school, and I was just okay. So I thought maybe in the later years in life I could flip the script.
Continue road racing with a off to be able to join us here for the commentators. We're very much enjoying and feeling maybe not enjoying this part of the race nearly as much as the first half of the race. Again,
I don't know how this front pack of men is going to end up, but I am excited about how many men are up there really going for it. There's a couple of names back there, guys I didn't expect to be in the lead pack.
Yeah, I think you're right, Bromka. Like that was the vibe I was just getting. I was like, man, like one of these guys is gonna hang on and have a big day. I'm wondering like who the undercard is that's like gonna come away from today being a newly minted sub 210 guy.
Jake, you need to save some of that popcorn for the last 5K because it could be thrilling.
It's a full-size bag, Matt. This is the movies. It was $12, and I've got my popcorn. Yeah, this is the closest I've come to being at the movies since I think like a year ago. So there we go.
I can't get over Butler's form just this far into the race.
I was just thinking about that too. I'm looking at his right leg and I'm like, oh, it's Butler with every stride.
I just noticed Mick Icofano is in that pack. He's cringing in the middle of the pack.
Mm.
He looks like he's seen God a couple times.
He only has 35 minutes of running left in the marathon. What could go wrong?
Best case scenario, he's got 35 minutes left of running. It could be a lot longer than that.
That's true. Come on.
Jared Ward's fallen off the back a little bit. It's hard to tell from that angle, but he's not where he's been all day.
Hey, I think it's
Someone
interesting.
needs to talk about Scott Smith.
Man, he's still in there. I always forget. I always think he's taller than he is. But when he's in a pack of runners, I'm like, oh, interesting. He's a little guy. But I think it was interesting. Paul just brought up, like, there's time bonuses for some of these athletes involved. And I wonder, like, obviously, because Josh is an agent, like, I wonder what sort of motivation there was to, like, okay, some of my athletes need the opportunity to snag some of these time bonuses. Like, it's like, and it's a win-win for him. Like, he's enabling athletes. He might enable some of his athletes to get a time bonus. So to sneak this in at the end of the year is probably super clutch for a lot of these athletes who have had zero appearance fees, who have had zero like performance bonuses, and are desperate to at least sneak under like maybe that lowest tier, time bonus before the 2020 year closes out. So hopefully, I assume he's benefiting in multiple ways from this race, and that's totally fine.
Thanks, Bob.
Yeah, in that regard, they can race, but they can work together for sure. Wait.
There's the move I think that you want. Well, it's a water station, so you can never really get too excited. But there's Cam, I guess, up towards the front.
So Fobbs is staying on the outside of this water stop.
Yeah, he's making me nervous.
Okay, now Ward's swinging in.
Meanwhile, Noah has just looked like steady and smooth in a kind of understated way. Like I keep sort of expecting him not really to fall off, but I just like at this point you can't avoid but talk about how he looks pretty good in that group.
I don't know if it's on purpose, but I don't think Fobbs swung through to grab any fuel there.
My all-time favorite fluid stop story is apparently from in Rio. Elliot like made a surge to go get a bottle and then came back to the pack and then looked at the guys and he's like, "Oh no, I'm not going yet. I'll let you know when I go." I'm finding myself very conflicted cheering for this Jacuzzi Boy athlete. They're our local rivals, and I really want him to stick with this.
Getting that airtime for that J-back singlet.
Lots of airtime.
Yeah, the Tracksmith version too.
It was interesting. Des was talking about the bottles, how they taste different as they like towards the end of the race. Does anybody have like I mean, I don't have like as much of a nutritional insight here, but like, what are the things that like, how do you, for your mixture of bottles, like, what are you adding towards the end of a race? Like, do we think that you crank the caffeine towards the end of a race? Like, I guess, how does the formula mix? Does anybody have insight on that?
Eddie Fitz.
Caffeine, yeah.
Yeah.
The one time I got elite bottles in Chicago, I put caffeine, dissolve the no-dos in my last bottle.
What?
Yeah.
Does a no-dose dissolve like a noon tablet?
Yeah, you just gotta shake it up a bit.
Weird.
Did they not have the Martin caffeinated gels at that point, Matt?
I guess not.
I think those are pretty recent, actually. But those are the sort of, now they have Martins with I guess it's 100 milligrams of caffeine per shot.
I'm not sure they had the gels at all. Period back then.
So you probably would have run like 225 if they had those gels, Matt.
Pretty much, yep.
Between that and the Alpha Flies, you probably could have broken 2.
I will say this, at least from my perspective, that the last half hour of racing, which is what they're in now, is way less important for fueling than the first half hour.
Yeah, because can you take some chances as far as like sugar and like you don't get gut rot? Like, because I got to think like when you're fueling early in the race, one of like the biggest stipulations is like, I don't want this to like upset my stomach. But towards the end of the race, you might be able to like take a couple more chances on what you put in your bottle.
Yes and no. Your stomach's a little bit more upset by then.
Yeah,
and
that's
so true. Like I generally actually go with more water just towards the end of towards the beginning of a race. Water alone or just Pedialyte, something like that. Not a whole lot of calories until a little bit later. But yeah, then calories and caffeine become more important towards the end. But if you've gotten to the point where they are right now and your gut is like already pretty full and kind of upset, then yeah, I would totally skip a aid station at that point.
But like, at what point do you think that you don't metabolize things, right? Like if you're like, once you hit 20 miles, like your body can't, intake.
But what about the study where they do the Gatorade in the mouth and you spit it out and your perception is increased? They're like, you don't even need to.
That's an endure, right? Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah, no, and what can you absorb in 30 minutes? Nothing, basically.
So
yeah, it is important to wet your mouth maybe or pour some water on yourself to cool off, but the actual fueling at this point is not that important. Not for these guys. Like if you're at mile 20 and you're running 10-minute pace, yeah, you need some more fuel.
What?
Steph Bruce dropped out or has stepped off the course. Small injury, according to the NAZ Twitter.
Wait, I did not see this coming.
Damn it, really? That's actually an interesting question about caffeine and sugar intake. Like one thing I know, Matt, I don't know, is it still as popular for long distance cyclists to drink like flat Coca-Cola like an hour or two into a race? I know for a while that was like a flat, fake sugar soda was really popular. And never heard any runner be like, yeah, at mile 20, like what I really need is a stale Pepsi. Like is there a reason that hasn't translated? Is it?
No, they actually did back in the 70s and 80s. I think that Joni used to drink flat Coke.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Bill Rogers.
Is there a reason it fell out of fashion that's scientific or just kind of other things cropped up?
Fructose. Almost all the sugar in Coke is fructose, which is it's harder on your stomach. It also is metabolized kind of, I don't want to get too far in the weeds, but it's metabolized through a different channel in the gut than other sugars. So that's why you typically you see fructose and maltodextrin or at least one other sugar, because your gut can kind of parallel process them, but your tolerance for fructose is lower, and Coke, that's all you're getting pretty much.
That's interesting. So would there be an advantage to drinking like a real cane sugared soda in a way there wouldn't be with a high fructose corn syrup soda?
I mean, you're just better off going with a sports drink because Coca-Cola is just supposed to taste good.
Sure.
Drink something that was meant.
I don't know. I've seen a lot of Pepsi Max commercials sponsoring athletes, Matt. Maybe I'm missing something.
People still do Coke in Ironmans on the marathon. You still see the Coke out there. There's a little bit of tradition behind it.
That's cool.
I just like to go on record as saying I doubted Mick Icofano, and he is crushing right now. So I feel
Kira D'Amato is like about 80 seconds back of Kellen. Kellen's 68 seconds back of Sarah.
And I just wanted to give a shout out to Kira D'Amato's splits right now, and also Ben Bruce, obviously, is doing a great job. She ran 5:29 for her first 5K, and then has run 5:28 for every single split since then.
Ben Bruce, he paced me a lot. Anyone who's read Running the Dream knows it. When I was in Flagstaff, and he is a genius pacer. Like, some people are just have the knack.
And for those who are wondering if Kira is catching Kellen yet, she is not. So Kellen's still running 5 seconds per mile faster than Kira.
Thank you.
Esther, what are their projected finish times as of now?
I don't think is that on the results?
I don't know.
Have that.
I just figured, Lindsay would be able to tell us, but she's not running. So the math. So if you had it.
Our featured female athlete, Sarah Hall.
Yeah. So Mick Iacofano is what, like I think a buddy of mine was telling me he's like a 213 guy, right?
A long and
Yeah,
successful.
he is
Yeah.
powering. That is awesome.
And this would obviously.
All right. I want to see how much these men can help her. I want them to dig deep, because this is going to get into like them just going flat out.
This is amazing to watch.
I don't think I really appreciated how much I've missed this, like Sunday mornings, just like watching some athletes crush it like this. This is amazing.
Yeah, it's snowing out here right now, and I'm still just gonna go running after this.
That's
It's
awesome.
like so exciting.
Also, I know that we always say we want more split screen, but I almost can't handle this much split screen. It's like too much excitement all at once.
I think there needs to be a better merging of split screen and data per screen. Like, if you're gonna split screen, I want to see a little bit more information about what's going on each screen. Otherwise, the entire picture is one that's like, oh, this is cool, but I can't actually get much intel besides watch runners. Whereas when it's single screen, but you've got that NASCAR chart, you feel like you're having a different kind of viewing experience. So I think the harmony might be to, if you're going to go split screen, to put a little bit more data per screen.
What's the latest pace that Sarah's on?
It was like 2:19:45.
Oh,
At 30K. Oh, Cam's getting dropped.
Cam and Butler are both hurting there. Yeah.
Scott Smith. It's my big hope now on the NAZ Elite men's side.
Oh no, Fable's still in there. A little bit. Yeah.
You're like 5 minutes behind, Bromka. Sorry to break it to you.
Matt, is Scott Smith's PR, is it 211?
I think it's 210. Chicago last year or year,
Yeah.
whatever. I forget what year it is. Former NEZ Elite. Yeah, I never got to meet Marty.
All right, will someone just tell me what time it says on the clock?
149.
Yeah, I think she 149.
Oh, but it's by the second. 149 and what?
25.
Okay, I'm about 8 seconds behind. They're throwing down.
I'm leading the watching competition. I'm ahead of all y'all.
Yes. But I mean, they have a lot of running to do.
Yeah, but Matt, here on the East Coast, we're 3 hours ahead of you, so evens out. Even if my stream is about the same pace as your current stream.
What's the future like, Jake? Tell me.
I got some stock tips for you. There's this company. This company, it's like they're like a fruit company. It's called Apple. They are killing it in the fruit game. And then there's this rainforest logging company, Amazon. Highly strong buy.
I'm about to mute you. We have major moves going on.
I can't believe Marty's taking a swing so early. I mean, is he taking a swing right now, or is or are people just dropping off?
He's got like a half hour run, 20 minutes of running. Oh, come on.
So I mean, this is a little bit of a downhill, and like, so I think guys can still reel him in.
Did you just say downhill?
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. An incline?
I think there's like 7 feet of elevation change on this entire course.
I don't know. I still like Noah there. Noah's tracking. He's got someone to look at.
Why go to Berlin when you could just go to
this
Chandler?
gap is growing.
I'd like to
I
apologize.
gotta say, it's not that early. I mean, he's got, what mile are they on? I mean, they've got what, 4 miles left?
They still got what, 18 minutes of running?
Yeah, I mean, it's not that long. Maybe
looks
17 minutes. Like, he's kind of killing it. And also, I love that he is a full-time med student.
Yeah, that is incredible.
Yeah,
well,
right.
He have a second kid in August. That's a big deal.
That's also a big deal.
Yeah.
With Hay here and Colin Benny throwing down, like, Syracuse people are losing their minds right now.
Is he wearing the
Benny looks
Adidas?
so smooth.
Those are the
Benny-
Adidas shoes, right? Or are they Vaporflies?
No, those are the Adi Pro.
I don't know. Jotty looks pretty pumped too. Like, he's excited. I don't know what's happening, but
He looks like he's picking it up, at least at my point.
definitely not out of the count.
My wife came into the room to say that I don't need to scream because you can all hear me. So I apologize, everyone.
Especially Lindsay.
I put a picture in the chat of my daughter
Sorry, what?
downstairs.
We need a camera switch. Anyone have any updates on the women?
I haven't seen anything.
Bingo. Ask and ye shall receive.
I'd say the real downside, though, to Sarah Hall's running style is it's impossible to say whether or not she's laboring. Because you look at her now and it's like, oh man, I don't know. And it's like, no. Like she's ready to sprint. This is what she looked like when she crushed it at the end of London. Like
I would say that's a huge advantage for her when she's in a race with other people. Like, yeah, they cannot guess if they're gonna always counter out and be wrong most of the time.
I like these guys trying to keep up on the side too.
Cole predicts that the guys are gonna go under 15 minutes for the last 5K. Top guys.
I'll say Martin is not taking afternoon naps to maximize his training
No.
like most of the people in the field.
Big gaps between the top 3 men now.
What's Marty's like biggest victory? I know he won that Pittsburgh race.
Mm,
I don't know. He got 6th at the trials.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm
So
really
Sarah-
impressed. Your face
I was
is
just
for
gonna say
Sarah.
Sarah's on 220 now.
Okay.
Just a little over.
Little over. But she can pick it up. I'm impressed that those men, I mean, they're really working hard. I'm glad they're still there for her.
Yeah.
It's going to be really hard.
ooh.
gonna be a lot of PRs.
Mm.
Come on, Noah.
Yeah, this is going to be a big day for Noah if he stays in second.
Hi.
Hmm.
I mean, there's not a whole lot of distance left, so
Fobbs is still in there. You can see Fobbs back there in fourth. Starting to reel some guys in, maybe.
Nobody can outsuffer Fobbs.
What's Drotty's marathon best? 2:12? I think it was in Chicago, right?
Esther, do you know who that girl is right there?
I don't believe I do. I'm a little out of touch.
There's such a steep learning curve, and he's still figuring out the distance. And
Does anybody know how Julia Conan's doing? That sounds random right now. I know.
Julia. Oh, I just had it.
Drotty's around 2:11:42. Yeah, in Chicago.
That was last time Chicago was held live. I think that was the year and a half ago. Yeah.
Julia's in seventh, and she's
Oh,
on sub. She's on sub 2:30 pace, very consistent. 5:42.
That's solid. Yeah.
Esther, can you give us an update on like the top 5 ladies and where they're at, what they're doing?
Yes.
Natasha Wodak was in 5th, and her marathon PR is like 2:35.
Wow.
So yeah, Wodak is. Oh no, sorry. 7th was not right. That was without the top 2, so she's in 9th. Julia is. Wodak. So the top 3 have all gone through 35K. Oh, now 4. So Sarah Hall, we know about. Kellen is now only 11 seconds ahead of Kira.
Wow.
At 35K with 7K to go. And Emma Bates is just over a minute back from Kira.
Oh.
Natasha Wodak seems to be the next person, but we'll see. She hasn't come through yet.
What about Steph? Is she in?
Steph dropped out.
Oh, she dropped. I missed that. Oh man.
I know.
Marty is further proof that not everyone needs a stride rate of 180.
Fair point.
I know his knees are still lifting. That's good. That's a good sign.
He's giving the rest of us some hope.
So who is his current sponsor? Because he's wearing the Adidas shoes.
I thought
Well,
he
it's
was
Reebok.
Yeah,
he's Reebok. I mean, although I mean, Adi hasn't sold off Reebok yet, so I'm sure they still have access to the Adidas Pro. I don't think Reebok has a proper, carbon plated challenger to the shoe race.
I'm gonna have to go for a run to blow off this nervous energy. I'm like, come on, guys.
Damn. Things have blown up on that men's side now too.
That's great camera work. That's a great long shot.
So what was this last timing, Matt? How far are we out? Do we know for the men?
We're in the last mile.
Marty was 2:02:08 through 40K with Noah 10 seconds behind him. This is a great run from these two. I'm so excited for these guys. This is really, really powerful stuff they're putting down here.
Yeah, nothing not to love about these two guys. Is that
Hey,
his
do we know
teammate
about?
in third?
Do we know about the like prize purse? Like as far as the top 3, top 4, is there a prize package? Because if there is some, then like there's some money to be bridged in these final couple seconds here.
Where's Mario? He was
That's a really good question. I hope there's a good prize purse.
So winners will receive 5K, runners up get 2K, third place gets $1,000.
Thanks, Google. Quick result. I just Googled the same thing, Alex.
Yep. 5-2-1 for 1, 2, 3.
Beers on Marty.
Marty looks like he's hurting a lot.
Yeah.
He's sticking tough though.
Oh, and look
Come
back
on.
for Noah.
Yeah, he's hurting.
There's the chin going side to side.
Ooh.
Yeah.
He looks confident though. I think he's got it.
There's a lot of space there. It looks closer in the angle, but it's a lot of time.
10 seconds is a lot of time in the last mile of a marathon.
Yeah.
I feel like Noah's gonna get him. He looks stronger.
I feel like
Only a
I
few
need
minutes
to
left.
I need to give a shout out to Noah's podcast, the D3 Glory Days.
Oh yeah, we're all in on Noah.
Lindsay, I'm with you. I think Noah looks stronger. I just think there's too much ground to be made up.
Yeah, it's further than it looks. Yeah.
He's like 8 seconds.
They're in the last 400.
He's looking for it, that's for sure.
Yeah, the turns you can really see how far it is.
Yeah, this is interesting. Like if this was a major race and there were crowds on the home stretch, you know, like it'd be such a roar that it'd be hard to gauge where the next person is behind you. But since it's kind of silent, you know, he can hear people yelling out the splits behind him. So he knows how much he has.
Looks like he's rallying a little bit now.
Yeah.
That's assuming his ears are capable of like hearing and processing anything at this point.
Now we see Ronnie come into view.
And
there's that mark, as you mentioned, 400 meters to go in this race. Ronnie
It's gonna be close for a sub 209.
final
Yeah,
stretch.
it's gonna be tight.
We had her trying to celebrate his birthday
This is a massive PR for him too.
He's surgery.
with a lifetime performance here in the marathon.
209, I think he's got that. But
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know if Brody will hit the 209 though.
Come on.
I don't think
Even
so.
if he doesn't, it's still an
He's
awesome
close.
day.
It's
Yeah,
incredible. 2.5 minutes at least.
I don't know. He looks like he's picking it up back there. He won't catch him, but he might break 209.
Marty's
What's
got a
the
little
camera
smile.
angle?
as he gets embraced by this small but
I need the drone cam.
As we look at the clock, Marty
There it is.
is going to join a top 10 list of
Okay.
American.
Dip it, dip it. Oh, he just got it.
Like it matters.
Project champion.
Oh, look
There
at
you
third. Look at
go.
third.
Yeah.
Oh yeah!
Oh, yes.
Oh my gosh. Johnny's gonna collapse.
The legend grows.
Oh,
Oh,
Back.
oh, I was 10 seconds late. Oh, oh,
All out there.
that is phenomenal.
Throw it back to the finish line.
Come on, man.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, what a legend.
Come on, this is a time for a split screen if nothing else. Come on.
A Zoom cam for Jody.
And she
That is great television right
So
there.
much vomit.
Oh my God. So there's your fluid intake question.
Yes, that is why you don't need stuff at the last half hour.
They better make a poster about that.
Colin
That could
Benny
happen.
went 209.38.
Two guys.
Oh, so he got the grand. Okay, cool. So Reebok went 1-3.
Yes. Big day.
Can't wait to run in a pair of
Syracuse went
Reeboks.
1-3. Justin Knight's losing his mind right now, watching Syracuse win.
What was that official winning time? They round up, you realize.
It was
Oh,
208.59.
Oh, nice. Okay.
59?
Well, at least this unofficial result is 208.59.
Gotta give that to him.
They got to give it to him.
What does that put him on the all-time American list? Like fourth, fifth?
Yeah.
I don't. Am I crazy?
It's got to be top
Sounds
8,
about right.
right?
But
Definitely
he's
top
only
10.
second for Americans in med school, unfortunately.
Get Scott Smith.
Scott Smith, 209.46.
Right on.
Whoa.
Oh,
Scott
Scott,
Fauble,
hey,
209.42.
Good day.
Nice.
So we have 7 under 210.
wow.
Success. Now let's see this women close it out.
Sarah Hall has just been on her own since what, like the 10-mile mark when Kellen fell back a little bit. And Kellen, she didn't just flop either. She's like clearly still running really well. Sarah's just, damn.
I think Kellen just made a decision to gear down slightly.
It's a business.
Yeah,
decision.
because she's stuck in the like 522, 523 pace after she dropped off.
This one pacer with Sarah's got a lot of wind. He keeps like giving her motivational quotes and stuff here. He's he's feeling good, right? I mean, he's talking the whole time. It's awesome.
I know. I want to know what he's saying.
You
She
gotta
probably-
mic the pacers.
Shut
If we can mic athletes.
My kids are just really infatuated with Noah's vomiting. They keep talking about it.
Yeah, I might throw up.
I think we can all agree it was the best part.
I really wish they would show Kellen and Kira because they've got to be pretty close right now.
Mm.
This would be where a drone cam would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
All performances, including Boston. That means hair goes to ninth all time.
Hey Hair goes to ninth
Damn.
all time, including Boston.
Damn.
If you take out
That's-
Boston, he's significantly higher.
Damn.
Back to the Marathon Project in Chandler, Arizona, looking at Sarah Hall in the final stages of her women's race. As the men's race has just completed, and what a minutes by Marty Hager taking the victory, and
Whew. All right.
Record eligible.
Sarah Hall has made it through 40K. Record eligible what?
The post-race interviews absolutely need to be picture-in-picture, split-screened. There's no reason we should be listening to Marty like talk about how thrilled he is at the expense of seeing Sarah and Kellen.
Oh, crap.
So she has slowed a little bit in the last 5K from 35 to 40K.
Man, she's hurting. She is
Just
like
a tiny bit. Yeah, that head gets farther and farther back.
She's starting to wobble a bit.
Yeah, a little stiff.
She looks to be losing the pacers a little bit.
There's Kira.
Damn.
First time in an hour that we've seen Kira. And has she passed Kellen or not?
yeah, has she passed her?
Yeah.
We don't know. Lindsay, did your son say yes?
Yeah, he's lots of commentary over here.
Yeah, where Mario go?
He wants
Right.
to know where Mario went because he likes the name Mario because of Mario Brothers, you know.
Mario.
Kira has passed. She is now 2 minutes and 40 seconds behind Sarah Hall.
Oh, wow.
You said?
Damn.
How far behind Sarah?
Damn,
2 minutes and 40 seconds. So she's going to be under 223, most likely, or somewhere right around 223 flat.
That's insane. That's gonna be like what, 8th fastest American or something like that.
Woo, girl.
Can I give a shout out to Sarah Hall's face right now? This is real tough.
I really
It's interesting.
miss suffering the way these people are suffering.
The two rabbits, it's interesting. I wonder if, one of them is like committed to staying dialed on pace and the other is committed to like just giving a little bit of emotional support being next to her.
That's what it seems like.
I think it's self-selected.
Caleb has been cheering her on for miles. Like, he's running fast while really coaching.
Oh, they say 7 American men under 210.
Correct.
Damn. Good day.
Kellen is a minute and a half behind Kira now.
Dang.
Wow.
She might not PR then, because she's 224 PR.
Yeah. 5:31 pace last 5K.
He's got a woman in this race, Paige Stoner, debuting. It'll be interesting to see how that
I feel like Kira's gonna PR.
Up and comers who are
Who? Yeah. Literally more 528s. Like just 528s the entire time for Kira. Amazing.
How? Cookie bar shout out.
Will this make her the second fastest American though? Like, because Jordan Hasay's 221 PR, right? Or 220?
Jordan's 220, but I don't know seconds.
Yeah. 220.07, Glenn's saying. That's gonna be close.
I think it's time for the guys to step off.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Sarah Hall as she closes in on this victory here in Arizona.
There we go.
Oh, I think Jordan's 220.57.
Yeah, that sounds more like it, but I'm not positive. Oh boy, 220.01. There we go.
220.57.
Nice. So she will be second all time.
Yeah.
Tries to attack the American record of Dina Castor. You can see her pick up her pace as she does in a signature way. The pace setter is trying to enjoy. Minutes and 30 seconds as she
No attempt whatsoever to clean up the Noah Droddy spillage, which I love. That needs to stay there for
I don't think they have
everyone,
enough volunteers.
everyone who finishes behind him to see.
That is a coronavirus nightmare. Like, I don't know if there's a policy in place. I mean, I'm sure they plan for like a lot of things, but vomit in the finishing chute is probably not, something they imagined.
She's definitely a little disappointed for sure. Which is kind of wild.
You can see that.
Well, Sarah Hall is the story. Much second billing bigger than Kira D'Amato, who's going to come in second here and will also have a new lifetime best in the
Is she going to go under 223?
For someone that we really wouldn't have even talked about going into Atlanta, but a 15th place performance there, an American record on the roads at 10 miles, and Des now firmly putting her.
Around someone is stepping up.
Dang, man.
Gotta say, she looks more comfortable than Sarah did.
For sure. I mean, she's thriving right now.
He is running fast.
For sure.
She's probably kicking herself for not going with the lead group.
Right.
Wow.
But
also, like, how can you blame her not, like, to not, like, think that she can, like, latch onto that?
Right.
But
I
damn.
love watching Sarah cheer her in. This is like so awesome.
Aww.
Wow. She went
Holy
sub 223.
moly, she got it.
Fuck yes.
Amazing.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Fuck yeah. I'm so excited.
That's huge.
That's amazing. She's barely breathing.
Like, I just have to say that, like, today, last year, I was on a long run with Kira and, like, giving her advice about the marathon, and I kind of feel like a schlub now.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Good work, Esther.
Esther, that's a coaching. I think this I think her PR is like 95% you at this point. I think this is mostly you.
Most likely, yes.
Yeah. If it makes you feel any better, Esther, about a year and a half ago, I was on the track with Kira and Scott was putting her through a workout and I was pacing her through the second half of 400s. And at the end, she was like really pleased to break 70 for like the last one. And we were like, whoa, you're in shape. And now she's just like, it's just nothing. It's just nothing.
Yeah, it's such a wild story because she obviously had so much talent, you know, that she proved in college and then, you know, had her foot surgery and life career and then came back to running. And like, it's just amazing to me that she both knew that it was there and also like is so pleased yet to like with every piece of progress that she's made, you know, like there was no expectation but also a lot of confidence, and I think that's like something that we can all look up to.
It's a really nice cocktail for success when you can merge those two, for sure. That's well said. Lindsay Hine, what did I say that Kira could run if everything fell right earlier? Did I say just under 223?
No, you said 223 high.
Yeah.
Damn. Wow.
I appreciated the shout out to the old people.
Across the line in 4.
My kid said, Mom, why do they have their underwear on?
It's so hard for Hall. Like you can tell they're saying like, how'd it go? Oh, I didn't get it. Okay. I just ran incredibly fast.
Yeah, I feel like wasn't there a tweet about how they were going to be really happy even if she didn't break it?
Who is that?
I mean,
came through.
That's called sandbagging.
Yeah, but I think like it is hard to control your emotions afterwards. But who?
I mean,
Natasha Wodak ran 226, a what 9-minute PR?
Wow.
I feel like that's her first marathon since like 2013.
Hi.
Who was that who just came through? Mm-hmm.
No one in my fantasy draft picked Nick Willis to run 213. That wasn't part of what we were thinking about.
Where does that put Kira on the all-time women's American list?
I think 7th is what they said.
Seventh.
Hi.
Wait, did we say 7th? Kira's now 7th on the
I
all-time?
believe so. I think that's what they said on the broadcast.
Kellen was 7th going into it, so she just got bumped.
Whew.
Oh, poor Steph. I feel bad for her.
What's wrong with Paul?
Aww.
Oh.
I wish we could hear what they're saying. Andrea Ramirez Limon ran 226. Does anybody know who that is?
I think
She's on my team.
girl that came across that kind of like collapsed with like the pink compression socks, but I don't know who that is.
You say Rosie Ruiz?
So what do you know about Ramirez Limon? I mean, that's quite remarkable. She looked pumped.
I don't know. Nothing.
She's on your team, but you don't know anything about her.
Well, in the picking, she seemed quite ready to roll.
You mean fantasy team, not team of running friends.
Oh, got it. Okay, got it.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
no.
yeah.
She's not
All
on my
right.
person.
I didn't know if she ran for Bomber or something.
No. Was rooting for her.
Well, she clearly was. Well done. So John Ranieri did finish.
Yeah, he ran well.
2:13:57. Somebody said he dropped out, right?
No, we thought dropped off.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's so close. And again, improved on that London finish. You
I wouldn't mind a camera on the finish to see women finishing right now.
The top 10. 7.
Cole just pointed out that Ian Butler broke 2:10 after all that talk.
That's badass. Damn.
Clearly his foot strike works.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm changing my entire pattern, going all in. My knees will be knocking, feet will be flopping. All right, we're going to say goodbye to those on YouTube. So thanks for everyone who's joining us.
You have to get going.
YouTube.
Which was awesome. Thank you guys on YouTube for following us along.